Shaktisinh Gohil has tweeted a video that shows security officials inside the resort. The MLA has questioned, are we criminals? These are breaking updates coming in this story. MLA Shaktisinh Gohil tweeting a video from the resort. Jaisilan joining us with further details. Jaisilan, Shaktisinh Gohil once again hitting out at the center through this video.
That's right. They have taken very strong exceptions to the deployment of CRPF personnel there. They expected, of course, the police, to be given the responsibility of, securing the resort while the raid is on. But that didn't happen. And therefore, they have taken it out on the center, stating that the Congress, the BJP, in fact, is, interfering in the rights of the states, which, of course, is against federalism and all that. But then if you remember, Uday, even in the case of a raid that took place, there in Chennai, immediately after the demise of Jayalalitha, the Chief Secretary's house was raided. And that too, the local police was not deployed. It was the CRPF which actually went there and took guard of the house when the entire process was on, the investigations were on. It was only after the IT sleuths came out of the house did the CRPF get withdrawn. So this is something quite natural. This is just a kind of a routine procedure which normally is taken. Whenever a central agency were to raid a particular place, and if the government out there happens to be of that concerned person, naturally the central forces move in just to secure that particular area alone for a particular period of time when the entire raid is on. But otherwise, this is kind of a routine kind of a thing. But the state government is normally taken into confidence, whenever an occurrence of this kind takes place.
So clearly, of course, the war of words continues there with this fresh video now coming in from Shaktisinh Gohil, and he's trying to, of course, make the allegation that the MLAs are being treated as criminals. Jaisilan.
Well, Arun Jaitley this morning, while, speaking in the Rajya Sabha, did say that it has got nothing to do with the MLAs. It was just a raid. Basically, it was a raid conducted on DK Shivakumar, who happens to be the energy minister there. And since he is the one who is responsible for the hospitality of all these Gujarat MLAs who have been airlifted from Gujarat to Karnataka, until, and would remain stay put there, until the 8th, the day of the election there in Gujarat. So the IT department also has issued a press release stating that it has got nothing to do with the MLAs, and that was a mere coincidence. And also we need to, bear in mind that these MLAs were not actually raided, they were not questioned, they were not subjected to any kind of a harassment. It was just the building, the resort, which actually was raided, and they were looking for some papers, for cash transactions, hard cash also. They did have information about credible intelligence inputs, and therefore the raid took place there. And also we need to bear in mind that there were 20 rooms actually, that were booked in the name of DK Shivakumar, which was basically meant to house the local leaders of the Congress. So those were the areas that really got raided, apart from which, DK Shivakumar's residence there in Bangalore, as also here in Delhi, and in a few other places there, in and around Karnataka. I mean, those were the places that were raided, and the MLAs were not touched at all. But then, this of course is a good opportunity for the Congress to, get even with the BJP, and therefore they have made this allegation stating that, the MLAs are being harassed in the form of, deployment of CRPF forces there and raiding those resorts where they are actually, put up.
Absolutely, of course, the war of words certainly continuing, and of course the allegation clearly is being made by Congress's Ahmed Patel that this has a direct link with the Rajya Sabha polls as well. Jaisilan, it's all taking a much wider turn now with the Congress making that direct charge that this is all being done with an eye on the Rajya Sabha polls and an eye to defeat him clearly.
Yeah, that's the tweet of Ahmed Patel as well. This morning he did tweet that, accusing the BJP of resorting to a witch hunt to somehow secure the Rajya Sabha seat. But the fact of the matter is, his election now has become unpredictable because, more and more people, it looks like, they're slipping, things are getting out of control for the Congress, and therefore they have resorted to this kind of a thing. Remember, they had 57 MLAs to begin with, which meant that, it was a cakewalk for Ahmed Patel. But now, the numbers have dwindled down. It all began with, the resignation of Shaktisinh Gohil. Then, of course, things started coming down like a ton of bricks on the Congress, and they have not been able to prevent the exodus. And finally, they decided that enough is enough, and therefore they lifted whatever, number they could, whichever MLAs were present, they all were airlifted there to Karnataka. And that too, they feel that, it's a bit dicey. So what we heard from our sources is that, this morning Ahmed Patel was supposed to have actually gone to the resort to address the MLAs, but then he got some hint of this raid about to take place, and therefore he changed his plan. We do not know how far it is true, but then we did hear from our sources, and they themselves said that, it's unconfirmed, but then he did have plans to actually go there and address the MLAs themselves, which clearly, testifies to the fact that the Congress is very, very jittery when it comes to the prospect of actually getting him elected.
Absolutely. Of course, this is the big question there. Remember, this is, of course, the story playing out from Karnataka, where there have, of course, been raids at a series of premises there. Of course, the raids mainly concerned with DK Shivkumar, who's a minister there. Remember, of course, there have been other locations raided in connection with the concerned minister as well, even in Delhi. Jayaprakash, Jaiseelan, just sum up for our viewers joining us just now. What really has transpired since the morning? We've seen raids at a plethora of locations, of course, including that resort where the ministers, or rather the MLAs, are currently at. What really has transpired since the morning? Just take us through the details.
Well, what we hear from the IT department is that they did have very credible information with regard to, some hard cash being, moved in and out. And therefore, they have been actually, keeping a very close watch on what was happening there. And this raid was, was in the anvil for quite some time. So the timing the IT department claims is, of course, coincidental. The MLAs were there, but then DK Shivkumar was under the scanner of the IT department. And therefore, they thought, this was the right time for them to move in, and therefore they went there. Also, remember, this resort actually falls under the jurisdiction of Suresh, who happens to be an MLA and also a brother of DK Shivkumar himself. This comes under the Bangalore rural constituency. So the resort. So there is so much of, interlinking of things that are taking place there. And he also happens to be the minister, and he was put in charge by the Siddaramaiah government to take care of all these MLAs. And unconfirmed reports here in Delhi say that 5 crore was actually recovered from his house here. We do not know how far it is true, but unconfirmed reports say that, 5 crore hard cash was recovered from his house. And, that too, we heard from our reporter that, raids were on. They were able to get hold of some incriminating documents with regard to cash transactions and all that. So, everything is now, going through the scanner of the IT department. We'll get a very clear picture only after the IT department, itself comes out with a very clear statement as to what happened during the course of the day.
All right, Jaiseelan, just stay with us. We're also joined now by Jayaprakash, who is joining us from Karnataka there outside the Egerton Resort. It's really been a dramatic day, hasn't it, Jayaprakash? And the latest, of course, being a video that has been released by MLA Shaktisinh Gohil, who is saying that the MLAs are being treated as criminals. He's tweeted out, or rather he's put out, a video of security officials at the resort. Jayaprakash, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jayaprakash, it's been rather a dramatic day, of course, at the resort there that you're standing outside of. The latest being a video that has come in from Shaktisinh Gohil, where he's alleging that the MLAs there are being treated as criminals.
Well, absolutely. This 6-second video clearly shows how paramilitary forces are leading him, and he's tweeted that against the finance minister's statement that no MLAs were raided. Contrary to that statement in the floor of the house, Shaktisinh has clarified that in fact the rooms were raided, and all the MLAs, 39 MLAs of them staying at the golf resort there, and some of the rooms were searched, and Shaktisinh is one of the suspect there, where these IT sleuths had gone to his room and checked his room. Clearly, Arun Jaitley has been as lies has been called off by Shaktisinh by this video that he has posted on Twitter handle, and then the video clearly sees that Shaktisinh is walking up, and in front of him are the IT department sleuths along with one paramilitary officer with a gun there. So clearly it is no doubt that raids did take place not only at the room 216 where DK Shivkumar was staying, but also at one of the MLAs, 39 MLAs from Gujarat, Shaktisinh Gohil. So he's clarified that his room was raided indeed.
Absolutely. And of course, the centre, meanwhile, has decided to clarify that the resort raids has nothing to do with the MLA staying there, but of course is a much wider probe regarding Shivkumar. So clearly that's the defense of the centre, isn't it, Jayaprakash?
Can you repeat the question, please? Sir, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I said, what is the centre's justification, though? What is the centre's defense coming in? We do believe, of course, as has been mentioned in Parliament, that the centre has clarified that the raids have nothing to do with the MLAs who are staying at that resort. It's part of DK Shivkumar investigation.
Well, absolutely. So that's the centre can go on and state that it is not linked with the stay of 39 MLAs at the golf resort here staying for the last 4 days, or with the Rajya Sabha elections that is slotted on August 8th. But then there is a direct correlation between the raids that have happened, because it is DK Shivkumar and DK Suresh who have been handling this entire resort drama that is being played out in Bengaluru outskirts for the last 4-5 days. In fact, DK Suresh was the man who brought in all these 39 MLAs from Gujarat to this very resort on Saturday early morning. Now, 2 rooms which were occupied by DK Suresh as well as DK Shivkumar, that is where these IT sleuths knocked the door at around 7:35. That is when they entered the room of DK Shivkumar, and sources do tell us that Shivkumar was trying to tear off some pieces of some numbers that was written on this paper, and he was quizzed for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and all those stone pieces were collected by the IT sleuths, which are now part of the Panchnama. So clearly the IT sleuths have come in with a specific intention of busting any cash which was there at the resort. Conflicting reports coming from the IT sources that some cash was recovered in Delhi and some here at the residences, 5 crores in Delhi and 2.5 crores DK Shivkumar's house. But then it is the IT department which has to clarify ultimately on these numbers whether these are correct or not.
Stay with us, Jayaprakash and Jay Seelan. We're getting more reactions now coming in.
Alleged that the income tax raid which has been carried out in Bangalore is nothing but political vendetta by the government of India.
Whenever any action with respect to the corrupt practices by the Congress people is taken by the income tax department, then they used to say like this: it is a normal routine work of the income tax department. If they are carrying out the raid against the 37 installation at various places, and where the Congress people are involved, and they are hiding themselves at a place where they are alleged that they should not have to go there, why they were hiding there? And thereafter they were turning the papers and all this. Everything has been collected and has been treated as part of the record. And the detailed statement has already been given with respect to this in the parliament by our Honorable Finance Minister Arun Jaitley ji. And I don't think there is anything remain thereafter.
But sir, Ahmed Patel has tweeted and said that that just to win one Rajya Sabha seat, BJP is stooping down to this level.
This is absolutely wrong. The BJP can't do like this, and it is that because they are losing everywhere, so they are making the falseless, baseless allegation against the BJP.
इसका मतलब कानून अपना काम नहीं करना चाहिए क्या? कानून अपना काम करेगा ना, उसमें हमारा क्या मतलब?
Those who are tax evaders will be tracked. What is bad in it? Do you mean to say that there should be no law enforced? So law is being enforced. Nothing has been done as vendetta. No Gujarat MLA has been summoned. No Gujarat MLA has been investigated. No Gujarat MLA staying there has been raided. The raided man is the Karnataka minister.
Well, let's go back to Jay Seelan, who's still live with us as well from the national capital. Jay Seelan, this issue certainly creating a ruckus in Parliament this morning.
That's right. This morning, there was so much of hangama going on, the Rajya Sabha. When Arun Jaitley wanted to give a reply, he was not allowed to. Then, everybody trooped into the well of the House, and then the deputy chairperson had a tough time actually convincing the members. And he told them that, the procedure is that whenever the leader of the House or the leader of the opposition were to speak, others, of course, will have to, maintain some silence. But then, that fell only on deaf ears. And Ghulam Nabi Azad did make, of course, an intervention. That was a very short kind of a speech that he gave, and he said, if only the raid, if you really wanted to raid this DK Shivkumar, you could have done that. You could have done that at least a month earlier. The timing, of course, is suspect, is what he said. And he said, you are not raiding those people, who have actually given so much of money to buy our MLAs and all that. To which, Arun Jaitley also retorted by saying that, the MLAs, house there have not been harassed at all. They have not been called for, questioning. They have not been asked to, submit any papers. They have not been, their positions, of course, were not touched. But then, the entire resort was raided because that was a place where DK Shivkumar was actually staying. And he also had booked 20 rooms, apart from these 39 rooms that were actually booked for these MLAs. He had another 20 rooms, meant for the local leaders. So naturally, that was suspect. And, the raid was part of a larger kind of a probe, against DK Shivkumar, which has been in the offing for quite some time.
Indeed. Let's go back to Jayaprakash, who is still live with us. Jayaprakash, any word from DK Shivkumar? Has he spoken out at all on this entire procedure and incidents that have been reported since the morning of raids on various locations in connection with him particularly?
Well, NewsX was the only channel which reported from inside, and I in fact was there when the IT sleuths were taking him away in a Innova car because they refused his request of coming in his own car, and then while he was leaving he had a word of message for all those inside, including his brother and his close confidant is there. He said that everything will be all right, I'm just going to answer some questions, I'm going to come back soon, just take care of these guests, and he left there. After that he's been maintaining very stoic silence. He's not targeted the IT department or the union government on this because when media tried to take his reaction on this, whether outside this Eagleton Golf Resort or at his residence, the only thing he did was, requested with folded hands and asked them to keep, asked people outside his house to keep calm. And he came out on his balcony a couple of times, and he just, with folded hands told them to, maintain calm and peace because there were some protests going on outside his house, but nothing concrete, no concrete reactions on this IT raids, especially because this entire Congress rank and file is rattled after these IT raids started early in the morning around 7:30 at this very Eagleton Golf Resort. 14 of them came here in the morning in 3 cars, and they knocked the door of DK Shivkumar, who was staying in room number 216, and quizzed him for an hour and a half. Multiple raids started happening around 8 o'clock. One was his Sadashiv Nagar residence in Bangalore. The other one is Kanakpura, where it's his hometown there. He's got a palatial bungalow there, and there also the IT sleuths swooped down and started conducting raids. Apart from other cities like Bombay as well as Delhi, 39 locations, that is what the finance minister has given the number, but as of now we've been able to pin down only about 7 or 8 of these premises which belongs to DK Shivkumar. It is very imperative to state here that DK Shivkumar is a very powerful minister, Vokaliga face of Karnataka, and is an integral part of the top brass of the Congress, and he being targeted clearly shows that the BJP will not take it lightly when it comes to resort politics, and it wanted to crack down on this resort politics being played out here in Bengaluru.
Indeed. Stay with us, Jayaprakash and Jayasilan. We are now getting more reactions, in fact, coming in on this story.
Whenever there are some financial irregularities and other things, the Enforcement Directorate takes its own course. So this has nothing to do with the other political affairs. It is learned that about 39 places places belonging to Shivkumar has been raided, and several documents have been seized, and some cash also seized. That is what I learned from the media and all that. I don't know exactly what all the things happened. Why we should link it with the other political affairs?
जो संपत्ति खर्च होती है, उसका सूचना मिलती है कि इसकी ब्यौरा नहीं है और हो सकता है काला धन है, तो इनकम टैक्स की अधिकार बनती है कि वो रेड करें.
And on that note, it's time to slip into a very